do things to the grapevines to mitigate the damage that might happen with the root systems. Okay, and then the last thing about terroir is climate zone. And if you think about climate, grapevines basically like what we like: good climate, easy. Yeah, Northern California has, you know, a particular climate zone. You can think about summertime. We have a couple of weeks of 100-degree weather in Northern California. You can pretty much count on that. You know, I've got a bunch of friends over in Napa Valley. Speaking of Napa Valley, um, you know, we talk about things and kid with each other all the time, and a lot of people don't realize Napa Valley has 100-degree weather every year. And you talk with people and they say, oh, Napa Valley, you know, they're kind of special, so they probably don't. Well, they have a little less days of 100-degree weather than most of Northern California, but every year they have 100-degree weather, every year. I've got it on my phone. I've got several pictures of, you know, the weather station, 104, 105, Napa Valley, right there, you know. So, Northern California, and what is very dangerous about climate is not so much the heat, but the frost. That's what does a lot of damage. And in Northern California, you can count on frost every single year. Early springtime is where the danger region is. Early springtime frost does a whole lot of damage to a whole lot of vineyards across Northern California. And if you go to the Napa area, you see all those machines and stuff they have in the vineyards there to mitigate the damage. That's going to happen every single year. You know those fruit trees that all these guys planted in Placer County foothills? And one of those is citrus for 100 or more years now. Citrus was growing in the foothills of Placer County. When is citrus ready to pick? Late winter, early springtime. See my citrus right there? Yeah, I'm going to pick those anytime soon, maybe next month. They'll do fine. I've got a whole bunch on the front side also, a lot of citrus. Wait a minute, citrus, early springtime, that's when a lot of citrus is being picked. For 100 years in Placer County, in the foothills. If you had frost, like everybody else has frost in Northern California, you'd be an idiot to plant citrus because you'd lose all your crop, right? Where does citrus grow? You know, Florida and Southern California and stuff like that. Not in Northern California, no. Except the Sierra foothills of Placer County. There's a unique inversion layer that you don't get frost here. In the Little Bend, 500 feet elevation is about the epicenter, a little below and a little above. But if you get to flat ground Lincoln, 2 years ago I was coming back from Portugal, middle May, that's almost June, right? Middle May. Storm came, frost hit, Northern California, frost everywhere. My very good friends in Lincoln, vineyards, winery, 100% loss. Every grapevine absolutely gone. No grapes, zero. Up in friends up there in the Auburn area, not quite as bad hit, but yeah, they got hit. Here, not one grape touched. Okay? And when it's hot, 90-95 in Lincoln, 90-95 in Auburn, this inversion layer through here, 80-85 with a little breeze. Okay? Yeah, as soon as, by the way, you go up Folsom 50, it's very smooth. You know what I'm saying? The hills are smooth going up. Not here. Ridge, down, up, down, up, down. Just perfect enough so when you have a variation in ups and downs, you have cool and heat, all right? You have movement, and the movement is not smooth, it goes up and down, which stays around a lot longer. It's pretty cool. That's why the citrus does so well. That's why fruit trees did so well. You go to Lincoln, Newcastle, Auburn, and all the little towns, Lincoln, I mean, Loomis and so forth. What's on all the buildings? The pictures of fruit, right? Yeah, Roseville Railroad taking fruit all around the United States from, yeah. Okay, so just a quick review here. Hills, yes. The right kind of soil, yes. I'm not quite as hot as you think. I never get frost. Does it sound like maybe I could plant grapes here? Okay. All right. Taking care of grapes. There's a lot of stuff you do to take care of grapes in California. Um, there's a lot of normal things that are done. All right. There's basically nothing normal that I do. I've been told that I'm not normal.
Don't feel bad. We get that all
Yeah.
the time.
Normal December, January, February, right in that time, you prune. You prune. You're done. Move on. Move on. Move on. Okay. Things to do. I have never ever done less than 2. Never. My normal is 3. This last couple of years I did 4 total prunings. All right, 4 prunings, not 1. All done by hand, by the way. Most prunings in California is done by machine. Yeah, so that's just. I don't have a normal vineyard either. I have more of a European vineyard. Normal vineyard in California is 700 vines per acre, and normal tonnage in California is about 10 to 30 tons per acre. That would be mostly the Central Valley, Sacramento to Bakersfield. 700 vines per acre, 10 to 30 tons per acre. I have more of a European vineyard. It's 1,500 to 2,500 vines per acre, and my tonnage is 3.5 to 6. So, okay. I do a lot of thinning. The big guys don't like doing thinning. It takes too much manpower to do that. They try to use machines, and that's not very effective. Machines do okay on the pruning. It's just not very picky about it. Okay. Yeah. So all of my thinning. Anybody have fruit trees at home, like peach trees and stuff? Peach trees are my perfect favorite to talk about because people that don't thin peaches end up with a bunch of branches broken and a whole bunch of little fruit and stuff that's not very good. You have to take 20, 30, 40, 50% of all that fruit when it's growing off, and what's left is nice fruit, okay? Same thing with grapes. You need to thin to have high quality grapes. I do a lot of extensive thinning. I'll tell you just one, I don't have time. I get carried away on this. A bundle of grapes, okay? There's a stem at the top, there's a branch called the wing branch with grapes on it, and then there's the bundle grapes, okay? Wing branch grapes ripen differently than bundle grapes. I don't think anybody's going to think about stuff like that. I think about things like that. I don't like those wing grapes. So before harvesting, we will go through the vineyard and find that little wing and pick that up and clip that off and mulch it right there, okay? That's 35 acres, averaging around 2,000 vines per acre, so that's 2,000 times 35. We leave 12 bundles per grapevine, so that's 2,000 times 35 times 12 little clips. That I don't know anybody that does that, but I don't have those grapes in my wine, so that's good. Let's move on to harvesting. Harvesting in California is pretty much done by machine. These are huge, huge machines, great big, huge machines. They set their blades in the row. Next to it is an open bed gondola truck. There's conveyor belts that takes cuttings up into the gondola trucks. As these machines start moving through the vineyard, pretty much everything in the vineyard ends up in those gondola trucks. Pretty much everything that would be rodents, lizards, snakes, spiders, insects, branches, leaves, grapes, into the gondola trucks, and the gondola trucks be going around California delivering grapes and stuff. Our harvesting, we start in the middle of the night, 11 at night, 3 in the morning we start. Depends how much time we want to spend out here. We pick in little white buckets. My employees that did the clipping of the wings are out here doing the harvesting, and they know I want a nice pretty bundle going into the bucket, and close by is a half-ton bin, a 4x4 bin, and they bring the bucket over to the bin to dump it in the bin. I've got 2 people at the bin. They'll be catching the grapes right there. making sure that there's no little tiny guys going into there, and as they walk back and forth, those two will be down in the, making sure that there's nothing in there to pick out. Okay. All right, that's good. What else? There's a sign down there, and there's another one on the winery. That sign on the post down there says California Certified Sustainable Vineyard and Winery. We're the only vineyard and winery in all of Placer County with that sign. We're one of a few wineries in California with that sign. To be California certified, and the key words here is California certified. Because there's a lot of wineries that says, oh yeah, we practice sustainability. Oh, are you certified? Oh no. Why? Because you have to do a whole bunch of stuff to be certified. All right. We have a herd of goats that do outside trimming. I don't know where our sheep are today. They're somewhere.
Heard them.
All right, they're trimming all the inside stuff. And if you go like to Napa and stuff, they're all nice and plowed, you notice, and they're spotless and they're beautiful. That means they use lots of pesticides and herbicides because you don't want to plow at all. That is not organic. That does a whole bunch of not so good stuff. But it looks beautiful, okay? This is what, all right. We use no harsh pesticides, herbicides at all. We have a bunch of bat nests out here. We have a bunch of owl nests. We have some beehives. We plant a whole bunch of all kinds of stuff, plants to attract good insects that go after the bad guys. God, what else? There's so much more than that. Than I better stop. Okay.
How old are you vineyard?
Most of the vineyard is I planted in 2006 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 and 11.
How many acres you have altogether now?
Well, altogether 45. Yeah, 35 here. I've got 120 down the road. That's why I'm 21 that way. Let's see what else. You use a lot of water in wineries, so you're spraying everything down all the time. All the pipes that go from the winery goes into some great big huge tanks in the back. We're the first or second winery in California to have this biofiltration system. Those tanks are filled with microorganisms and worms, and it does what nature does. Those worms and microorganisms takes all the bad stuff and cleans it all up, and when the water comes out the bottom, it's nice clean water, goes back into our irrigation system back out here. And then all that stuff that they cleaned up and stuff is one of the highest prize stuff to put it back out in the vineyards as far as fertilizer. It's like I can sell that for a bunch of money, okay? But I use it. All right, so did you notice my new building that is over there? There's a neat looking cave that goes into the new building.
I saw the thing.
The cave, yeah. That building, the new production facility actually, has a very, very deep foundation, really deep. And way down there in that foundation, I've got big pipes down there, and the air in those pipes are 55 to 58 degrees in those big pipes. And I've got little pipes coming up into the winery. And to run this geothermal system, it takes enough energy to run a air blower to circulate all that air up into the building all the time. But I don't use that energy. I'm solar on top of the building there and the back hill, enough to take care of my house, the existing winery, the restaurant, the new facility, and then some superpower stations for cars in the new parking area. Okay, any questions?
How many sheep and how long does it take them to do
Oh, yeah,
a section?
There's about 45 sheep now, but they keep having babies, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
A lot.
We keep building our, they just keep going. And yeah, the goats are the only problem. They're like escape artists. and they will eat anything that is not edible or edible. Yeah, okay, you know of goats, yeah, but they're fun. All right, back to the winery,
Okay.
and we'll continue, okay?